Bowtie Boss here for Fight Combat Sports Network. Now today I'm going to be talking about something that's an absolute passion project for me, something that is on the forefront of all athletics, but I think it's the most important when you talk about combat sports in general, and that's PEDs. Performance enhancing drugs, steroids, juice, whatever you want to call it, has absolutely no place, or it has every place in combat sports. Right now, as far as the commissions and as far as legality is concerned, they have no place. So why are they so pervasive in our fight sports? Recently we have GSP coming out against the UFC saying the reason he's retiring is because there's no controls on PED usage in the UFC. Now that's not just the UFC, that's going to be Bellator, that's going to be World Series of Fighting, that's going to be these tiny little shows all over the place. There's nothing more that I hate more than PED use in fight sports. Big problem with why they're able to be used is there's no testing. A state commission is going to do testing after the fight's over. That's after the damage is done. Further, anybody who actually knows how to use their drugs, they're not going to be caught dead with it in their system after the fight. The whole point of using something like that is that you can train harder, you can heal better, you're taking less joint damage, especially for the MMA guys out there, and you're able to train much better. Now when you get to the fight, you already realized all of the benefits from all the drugs that you were taking. There's a comment that I heard once I started dealing a lot more with MMA, and I was at a Strikeforce card, and I saw a 145-pounder, and the phrase that was used was geared to the gills. I mean, this kid looked like he was about 200 pounds, fit inside of a 145-pounder's frame, and guess what? The guy he was fighting, same thing. And it's absolutely insane when I see this. Boxing used to be huge with the gear. In the 80s and 90s, look at those heavyweights then. Look at the bodies that they had. Look at an Evander Holyfield, and look at the size of his head and the size of his neck. When you grow from a 190-pound cruiserweight to a 220-pound heavyweight, your head doesn't grow unless you're doing something. This is that same thing with all the Olympic runners back in the late 80s when they were all wearing braces from the HGH. This is a massive problem, and I think it really needs to be addressed. You got guys like Floyd Mayweather speaking out against it. You got guys like GSP speaking out against it. Those, at the time, are the two most powerful guys in their sports. Don't just speak out against it. Do something about it. I can speak out against it, but I can't do anything about it because I don't control pay-per-view receipts like these guys do. Now they say, well, wouldn't I take a drug if I know my opponent's going to be on it? Which brings me to my next point, and something that I talk to other people about as well. If everybody's going to be on it, then let's be done with the rules and say this is fair game for everybody. Jump on the juice, get as big as you need to, and scrap it out. Or it all needs to go away. So how does it go away? Well, if you're a professional fighter and you hold a professional fighter's license, you should be subject to 24-hour-a-day, year-round, random drug testing. And that's tested for everything. I'm thinking VADA. I know USADA also has their rules. I hear a lot better things about VADA and the fact that they catch a lot more different drugs than USADA does. Again, I'm not an authority on that, so I don't want to speak on that piece. But what I do know is that there's a lot of guys who end up getting hurt seriously because the guy they're fighting is on steroids. And then Dana White is going to call GSP kooky or whatever he says because he's speaking out about it. This is the same Dana White who banned Rousimar Polaris for life for twerking a guy's ankle a little bit longer than he should have. Now, Polaris looked to me like he was on the juice as well. So you're going to kick the guy out of the UFC for life over an ankle lock, which you say it might permanently damage this guy's leg. Or, hey, I got 80% of my roster that's on steroids, and, well, that's fine because that's what I'm paying them to do. Which brings me to my next point, which is testosterone replacement therapy. I always see Vitor Belfort, who was on the juice when he won his UFC title to begin with. Then he goes off the juice and all of a sudden he can't win a fight to save his life. Now he's on testosterone replacement therapy, and now he's winning again and is going to get a title shot. Why does he need testosterone replacement therapy? He says it's because his body's not producing enough testosterone, which either means, hey, he's getting too old, or his body is so used to the testosterone he used to jam in there years ago that it just doesn't have that natural level of production anymore, or it means he's just lowering those levels before he takes his test. My thought on that, listen, if you can't produce enough testosterone, you shouldn't be fighting at this level. If I only had one arm, should I put a metal arm on? Not necessarily. So again, any performance-enhancing drug I don't feel has any place in combat sports unless everybody is allowed to use it and unless there's, I don't know, minimal rules around it. That's never going to happen, so let's just get rid of these things. And look, I know baseball tried to make an example out of A-Rod. Why not make an example about everybody who gets caught? Ban them. If you're going to be banning people over heel hooks, ban them over steroids. Again, this is the Bowtie Boss for Fight Combat Sports Network. Say no to drugs.